As a creative, what I always found important is keeping a sketchbook and practicing fast-paced design ideas. So, hi and welcome to today's design explorations. We will be exploring facades, solar shading strategies, a simple component of a building, but with so much importance. Without it, the building will overheat, will have glare, and the environment internally will be very difficult to control. It is one of the first things that will pop out to anyone walking past the building. It may be something simple, complicated, creative, or planned. But firstly, what are solar shading devices? They are the horizontal or vertical components on the facade. They ensure that buildings don't get overheated or have too much glare. In the summer, they provide shade, and in the winter they allow for solar rays to access the building. They allow to climatize the building through a passive strategy. So, what's fascinating is that the solar shading isn't new. If you look at traditional architecture in hot climates, you'll see early versions of these devices. Think of the mashrabiyah screens in the Middle Eastern architecture, which filtered light and kept interiors cool, or deep verandas and overhangs in tropical houses. These were passive strategies long before we had fancy glass technology or air conditioning. Today we're discovering the value of these techniques. Only now we can combine them with modern materials, parametric design, and even automation to make them more efficient and beautiful than ever. As a designer, it is important to keep exploring and practicing and not to become stale. It's very easy to fall into repeating ideas, designs, and concepts. So one way that I ensure that I keep the creative juices flowing is through drawing. Testing ideas, drawing precedents, watching things around me, reading books and articles. You never know where the light bulb moment may occur. So, solar shading devices come with two primary forms, vertical and horizontal. Horizontal systems is used for south face, and vertical ones are used for east and west. This is due to the way that the sun moves and the light rays are angled. This is the reason that orientation of buildings plays such an important role when we design in context. The systems can be created with different materials or strategies. It may be part of the facade already considered, or it may be something that is connected as an additional system. It could be made from timber, metals like aluminium, stainless steel, as well as fabric types of glass and vegetation. A lot of consideration need to be taken when we design environmental systems like these ones, shading for a building. The location of the building and the type of the environment it is in will dictate the dimension as well as the angle of the shading devices. Using the same in different locations isn't the most efficient approach. So they are objects that have a lot of expression and occur. They can bring a lot of creativity and joy to the building. So creating a new design and exploring kind of the feeling and atmosphere and the perspective for people walking past the building is very important. When I work on projects, I like to think of shading devices as more than just functional objects. They can become the face of the building. One way to approach design is to start with the solar analysis. Where is the building located? How does the sun move across it during the day and across the seasons? Then I sketch different strategies, overhangs, louvers, perforated panels, or even movable screens. From there, I might model them in Rhino and use a plugin like Grasshopper and Ladybug tools to test how much heat gain they reduce. This iterative process helps refine the design so it's not just visually striking but also performs well, saving energy and improving comfort for the users. Thinking kind of about precedents and buildings with these kind of systems that strike out to me. So, for example, one of my favorites is the Institut du Monde Arabe in Paris. Its south facade has a mechanical apparatus inspired by the Arabic latticework that open and close, like a camera shutter, depending on the light levels. And another one is the Al Bahar Towers in Abu Dhabi, where a kinetic mashrabiyah system blooms open during the day and folds away at night, dramatically reducing the solar gain. It's been very successful, especially in that kind of harsh environment that the building's located. And then you have very simple, elegant examples like deep concrete fins on office buildings that create strong shadows and rhythms across the facade. Each one tells a different story and responds to its climate uniquely. It is often found that the system explores concepts of origami, exploring folded panels to create the right extrusion, as well as opening to create views in and out. These solar shading devices may also come in different types. Two of them are fixed and operable systems. They might be louvered to change angle and move with the angle of the sun. In modern buildings, smart facades are becoming more common, with the shading systems controlled by sensors, and with artificial intelligence creating new opportunities for more efficient smart systems. So, looking forward, we might see even more exciting innovations: facades that self-adjust using AI to predict weather changes, glass that can change its opacity automatically, or shading systems that generate solar energy while protecting interiors. Imagine a building where the facade isn't just a passive skin, but a dynamic living system that interacts with the environment, breathing, shading, producing power, and even harvesting rainwater. That's where the future seems to be headed. A simple component, but such a big impact if it's integrated or totally forgotten. Solar shading affects how comfortable we feel in a space, how much we spend on cooling, and even how we experience daylight. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this has inspired you to notice these details when you walk past buildings. So, have you seen a building with shading that really impressed you, or one where it was missing and the space felt uncomfortable? So, share your thoughts in the comments. Let me know maybe any buildings that could be a nice precedent to explore. And in the next session, I'd love to explore another key facade element, maybe a double skin facade or green walls. And let me know what you'd like to see. And as always, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the deep dives into design.